Now, back to Coastal Living on KZTV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coastal Living. Now, we're going to talk about a topic that needs talking about. Paralyzed Veterans of America, an organization dedicated to empowering veterans, is undergoing a campaign to alert the public to the dangers people with disabilities commonly face during air travel. So joining us to discuss this important topic is Shaun Castle. He's a U.S. Army veteran and Deputy Executive Director for Paralyzed Veterans of America. Welcome, Shaun, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for having me and bringing me on to talk about this very important topic.
It is. It's very important, and I think it's something that I'm excited to be able to share with our viewers because we don't talk about it enough, and it's something we need to consider. What are some of the top dangers that air travelers with disabilities are facing?
Well, at Paralyzed Veterans of America, the number one concern we hear, not just from our members, but all people with disabilities, which is actually there's 65 million Americans that have some form of a disability, is their problems with air carrier access and air travel. So imagine if you're a normal person with no disability, you go to deal with TSA first thing in the morning. It's an annoyance. You got to take your shoes off, take your belt off, whatever the case may be. But if you've got a disability, this is a much more in-depth process. This is something that is, first and foremost, it's embarrassing. You spend 30 to 45 minutes being poked and prodded and lifted and shifted in front of thousands of other travelers. But more importantly, you're doing this with people who don't have medical training that are lifting you and moving you around. So if you're a high-level quadriplegic and, you're shifted the wrong way, that can have long-term ramifications. And then suppose you get through travel, the TSA section of it, it takes 45 minutes, you get to your gate. Then you get put on an aisle chair, which is much narrower than a regular wheelchair to get down to the airplane. And an air chair, aisle chair is exactly what it sounds like. It's meant to be able to take you down the aisle. The problem with that is you're being taken down the aisle by people who don't have long-term medical training to understand disabilities and being transferred to your regular seat. So you get transferred to your regular seat, and what can happen a lot of times, which has happened to me multiple times, is you get dropped. And again, it's not something that, it's an inconvenience, sorry we dropped you. No, this has long-term medical ramifications. So let's say you get into your chair, and let's say you're flying from Corpus Christi to LA, and that's what, a 3.5 or 4 hour flight. Well, you're stuck in that chair for 4 hours without access to a bathroom because there's no way to get you down the aisle once you're on the plane. And even if they could get you down the aisle to the lavatory, it's too small to get you in. Then when you land out there, you go through the whole process in reverse, get put back in the aisle chair with people who don't have the medical training to lift you, and then taken off the plane and hope that you're not put for too long on a chair that's too small and you suffer, a sore, which can be a very dangerous, sometimes deadly happening for someone with a disability. But I always tell people this is not just a veterans' right issue or a disability rights issue. This is a human rights issue because all Americans are affected by the access travel. If suppose you're a mom, with 2 newborns who's flying out to Los Angeles and you land and you find out that they've damaged your stroller, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? Well, it's the same thing if you have a disability and you have a piece of equipment that's damaged. I'm somebody who uses my wheelchair at all times, and I've had it broken. I've had both of my wheels damaged. I've had, the crossbar cracked. I've had my casters completely snapped off before. And again, that's not just a minor inconvenience. That literally is taking away my ability to get off that plane. So in essence, you're taking away my ability to move. You're breaking my legs in that way. So PVA is very proud to have pushed forward with the Air Carrier Access Act, which is something that has actually been around for 30 years, trying to enforce the regulations to ensure the airlines are giving proper treatment to all people with disabilities, but more important, all people who use air travel.
Absolutely, and it's really unfortunate to consider the fact that it's taken this long for us to really make changes and make the moves necessary to make traveling more comfortable for those people. So what can we do and implement to make air travel more accessible? How can we make that change?
Well, to be very honest, we're not asking for new regulations. We're not asking for new changes. We're just asking for the airlines to utilize and enforce the blueprint that is out there, which is the American Air Carrier Access Regulations. This is something that has been in place for 30 years. These are not new knowns. These are things that have been known for 30 years that needed to be followed, needed to be done. The lavatory access, the better training, those type of situations are things that have been known for 30 years. How to better handle, how to, the equipment, how to better handle people. So We're not asking for the airlines to come up with these grand new plans. We're asking for them to just follow the regulations that are already in place. And again, this is not just a veterans' right issue or a disability rights issue. This is a human rights issue that affect all Americans. And we'd love for as many people as possible to stand up and join the fight with PVA and find out about all the things that are going on at pva.org/travel, where they can find the reports, the regulations, and everything they need to be informed consumers. Again, at pva.org/travel, they can find all the information they need to be an informed consumer.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to inform and educate us on this. It's very impactful, and I think it's important to hold everybody back up to those standards that we know just simply need to be enforced, but be enforced correctly. So tell us one more time, where can we learn more and lend our support?
Absolutely. If you go to pva.org/travel, you can find all the information you need to stand up and join the fight with PVA.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to helping out. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you and bless you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys, we learned a lot and we're just getting started here on Coastal Living. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're watching Coastal Living on KZTV, the only lifestyle show made in the Coastal Bend for the Coastal Bend.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.